Good morning to you. I'm digital anchor Brandy Smith. We are giving you a live look right now from Champions Forest Baptist Church, where you see so many deputies, other law enforcement, awaiting the arrival of Deputy Kareem Atkins. He is one of 3 Precinct 4 deputies who was shot last week in what Constable Mark Herman called an ambush. He was killed. The other 2 deputies who were hit are still hospitalized, but his funeral service is set for 2 o'clock this afternoon. Once Deputy Atkins arrives at the church, there will be a family visitation for a couple of hours until 11, and then from 11 until 2 p.m. the public is invited to pay its respects. The procession is on its way from the funeral home. It was set to leave about 7:30. Now, normally we would have Air 11 up showing you the full procession. Weather conditions just didn't allow that this morning. So we are standing by, waiting here at Champions Forest Baptist Church. This is on Stubner Airline. You can see law enforcement getting ready out front. We saw ladder trucks with the flag ready to salute Deputy Atkins when he arrives at the church for that funeral service. Again, the family visitation is from 9 to 11, and then after that, the public will have its opportunity to pay its respects to Deputy Atkins and then attend that funeral at 2 o'clock. We have covered this story extensively since the shooting that happened on October 16th. Deputy Atkins leaves behind a wife and 2 children, a 2-year-old daughter, and a 6-month-old son. In fact, he had just returned recently from paternity leave before that shooting that took his life. There is a GoFundMe set up to help his family, his widow, his children. We have more information about that on khou.com. But this 30-year-old deputy joined the department in 2019. He was serving alongside some of his best friends. They were working an after-hours job doing security for a club, got alerted to a possible robbery in the parking lot, and Constable Herman says that they were ambushed by a suspect with an AR-15. At this point, no arrests have been made, but there are considerable reward amounts offered for any information that leads to an arrest and that brings Deputy Atkins' killer to justice. If you're just joining us, this is a live look at Champions Forest Baptist Church on Stubner Airline, which is where Deputy Kareem Atkins will be honored. His funeral service is later this afternoon at 2 p.m. Of course, we'll provide coverage of that as well. But right now, we are awaiting the arrival of the procession from the funeral home to the church. It's amazing looking back at some of the stories we've done this week and the words that folks shared about Deputy Atkins. A lot of friends still struggling to deal with the fact that he's gone. One of the other deputies who was shot, Daryl Garrett, his fiance, said they hadn't told him about Deputy Atkins' death because they were just so close, and Deputy Garrett was in such critical condition that they didn't want to jeopardize his recovery. He was shot in the back. Jaquam Bartham, another deputy, was shot in the foot, and at last check, both Garrett and Bartham are still in the hospital, and no suspect has been named or arrested. I want to go through some of the Facebook comments here. So many of you sharing prayers. Jackie says, R.I.P. Deputy Atkins. Prayers, God bless them. Praying for his family and the other officers' families. Sending prayers to the family. That's from Monica. Michelle says, God bless this family. Walter is sending prayers to the family. Oh, Marie writes, my heart is crying for the family. God bless. It's a reminder of what these families put on the line every single day as law enforcement officers and other first responders go out on the job. And it's one of those things you sign up for with the job, but you just hope that they walk through the door at the end of the day. And on October 16th, Deputy Atkins did not come home to his wife and his 2 young children. I know quite a few of you are just joining us as we take a live look at Champions Forest Baptist Church. This is where the funeral service will be held for Precinct 4 Deputy Kareem Atkins. It's later this afternoon at 2. What we're waiting on is the arrival of the procession, his body being transported from the funeral home to the church ahead of the funeral service at 2 p.m. If you want to pay your respects to Deputy Atkins, that funeral service again is at 2, but there's also a public visitation from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., giving the community the opportunity to say goodbye to a man who'd served with Precinct 4 since 2019, but a 30-year-old father of 2, leaving behind a wife, a 2-year-old daughter, a 6-month-old son, and 2 friends who also worked in Precinct 4 with him, hospitalized as a result of what Constable Herman called an ambush on October 16th. Yumiko writes on Facebook, prayers to this brave man's family. Tammy also shares prayers for his family. Diane says, RIP, Deputy Atkins, sending prayers to family and deputy and police officers. I mentioned this earlier, we would normally have Air 11 up above the procession following it as it made its way from the funeral home to the church. Weather conditions today just didn't allow that. So we have this camera set ready to go. It's hard to say exactly when the procession will arrive, but we know this is of such high interest to so many of you to see a life cut short like this, and a lot of folks just want to pay their respects any way they can, whether that's watching a live stream or going to the visitation today, to the funeral service this afternoon. Oh, Marie says, my son was in the same academy class as him. It hits home. I can't imagine, Marie. First responders are out there putting their lives on the line every single day. And this was an after-hours job. They were just working security at a club. Deputy Garrett's fiance said at one point in an interview that it sounded like they had turned this guy away, wouldn't let him in the club, something like that. The person who shot all 3 deputies. Just heartbreaking for something so trivial, getting into a club on a Saturday night, that someone would go so far as to take another person's life. An attempt, it looks like, to take 3. Green writes condolences to his family and God's swift hands to and on the head of the shooter. Destiny says, thank you for your service, brother. A lot of condolences, a lot of prayers pouring in. I think I'm gonna try to pull up the GoFundMe and share that link here. There are GoFundMe accounts set up for all three deputies, Deputy Atkins, Deputy Garrett, and Deputy Bartham. So I just threw that in the comments now, if you're looking to help out in any way. But this seems all too routine. I joined you just a couple of weeks ago as we laid another officer to rest. And a couple months before that. This is just the kind of routine you don't want in a community. What you're seeing there, the camera getting fixed, lightening, brightening, the photographer there is adjusting the iris, making sure you have the best possible image as we await the arrival of the procession. The other crews there. Now that truck you see through the trees, that and another earlier had the flag up on the ladders as a salute to Deputy Atkins. And I believe the photographer is zoomed in here. I have to believe the arrival is imminent. We were told they were leaving the funeral home about 7:30. It's a 20-minute drive, so that time is approaching, and you can see other in this. Well, actually, you're blocked on this view. Let me give you a full view of our live shot. You can see other first responders arriving, and that's one thing we see. Representatives from all over, not just the state, but sometimes the country. Departments will send representatives to pay their respects to a fallen officer, fallen deputy. And as the funeral gets closer, I'm sure we will see a lot of those vehicles in the parking lot. That's one thing, I mean, having covered far too many of these funerals over the years, that is something that is really touching, to walk through the parking lot and see cars, vehicles from agencies that have come so far, but just to pay their respects. Holly writes, "Thank you for your service. You're a hero, and you will become a hero in heaven." Stephen says, watching from Los Angeles this morning, sending prayers to the family and friends of the officer. Again, Deputy Atkins was 30 years old. He joined Precinct 4 in 2019, but had just recently returned from paternity leave after his wife gave birth to his son 6 months ago. And here we see the procession arriving, the hearse carrying the body of Deputy Kareem Atkins, who lost his life on October 16th. From here, I'm going to turn off my microphone and just let you soak up these very powerful moments as Deputy Atkins arrives at Champions Forest Baptist Church. Hey there, digital anchor Brandy Smith here. We're just standing by waiting for the ceremony to get started. We apologize. We know that that truck is blocking the shot. This is the only camera we have there at Champions Forest Baptist Church. So hopefully we can get you a better view as they take Deputy Atkins' flag draped coffin from the hearse there into the church ahead of his 2 p.m. funeral service. The body of Deputy Kareem Atkins is now inside Champions Forest Baptist Church, where it will stay until the funeral service at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Between now and then, there's a family visitation from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Then from 11 to 2 p.m., the public is invited to pay their respects to the fallen deputy who lost his life on October 16th. 30 years old, a husband, father of two, 2-year-old daughter, and a 6-month-old son that he left behind. We will be back with coverage ahead of his funeral at 2 o'clock. Until then, I encourage you to jump in the link I shared on Facebook. There are GoFundMes set up for Deputy Atkins' family as well as the families of the other 2 deputies who were shot or still hospitalized. We, of course, have much more coverage on KHOU.com as well. We'll see you back here at 2 o'clock.